The ghost signal, the alarm screamed through the station. Commander Zexthar jumped from his sleep pod. His 4 eyes blinked in confusion. The red lights were flashing. Something was wrong. Very wrong. What is happening? He shouted into the comm device. Sir, you need to see this, his officer replied. Her voice was shaking. You need to see this right now. Zexthar ran to the command center. His crew stood frozen. They were all staring at the main screen. Their faces showed fear, pure fear. Talk to me, Zexthar demanded. The scanning officer pointed at the screen with a trembling hand. We picked up a signal, Commander. So? We pick up signals every day. Why are you all acting like it's coming from the dead zone, sir? The room went silent. Everyone knew about the dead zone. It was the empty space at the edge of the galaxy. Nothing lived there. Nothing could live there. The radiation would kill anything in seconds. That's impossible, Zexthar said. But his voice was not strong anymore. That's not all, sir. The officer pressed a button. A sound filled the room. It was a signal, but not just any signal. It was old, ancient. The pattern was strange but somehow familiar. Run it through the database, Zexthar ordered. Find out what language this is. The computer worked. Numbers and codes flashed across the screen. Then it stopped. One word appeared. Human. The room became colder. Or maybe it just felt that way. Human? Someone whispered. But that's impossible, Zexthar finished. Humans have been gone for 40,000 years. Everyone in the galaxy knew the story. The humans were once a powerful race. They had explored the stars. They had built great ships. They had made friends and enemies across 100 worlds. And then, one day, they vanished. All of them, gone without a trace. Some said they destroyed themselves in a great war. Others believed they found a new home beyond the known galaxy. A few whispered that something terrible had taken them, but nobody knew the truth. After 40,000 years, humans were just a legend. A ghost story that old aliens told young ones. Check the signal again, Zexthar said. There must be a mistake. The officer checked. Then checked again. No mistake, sir. The signal is definitely human origin. And, sir, there's something else. What? The signal is 40,000 years old. Zexthar felt relief. See? It's just an old recording. Some ancient human message that finally reached us. Nothing to worry about. You don't understand, Commander. The officer looked at him with wide eyes. The signal is 40,000 years old, yes, but it was sent 3 hours ago. The words hit Zexthar like a physical blow. That makes no sense. How can something be old and new at the same time? I don't know, sir. But the transmission is active, and it's getting stronger. Stronger? You mean it's getting closer? The officer nodded slowly. Zexthar looked at the screen. The signal was moving. Something was traveling through space, through the dead zone, through the place where nothing could survive. Can you get a visual? He asked. Working on it, sir. The screen changed. Static. Darkness. More static. Then through the noise something appeared. A shape. A massive shape moving through the void. It was a ship. The design was old, ancient, but it was moving with purpose, with intention. The hull was covered in strange markings, symbols that glowed with a soft blue light. The ship looked damaged. Pieces were missing. Parts of it seemed destroyed. But it was still flying, still traveling, by the ancestors, someone whispered. Is that a human vessel? Zexthar said. His mouth was dry. A human ship. After 40,000 years. But sir, how is it still moving? There's no power signature. No engines firing. The ship should be dead. I know. Then how the signal changed. The noise became clearer. And through the static a voice spoke. It was quiet. Broken. But unmistakably real. This is the UNSC Wanderer. Lost for 40,000 years. Crew deceased. But we are still here. We are still walking among the star. The voice faded. The signal continued its strange pattern. Zexthar stared at the screen, at the impossible ship moving through impossible space. His hands were shaking now. Commander, his officer said quietly. What do we do? Zexthar had no answer, because he was thinking about the voice, about the words it had spoken. The crew was dead, but the ship was still alive, still moving, still walking through the stars, and it was coming their way. Sir, the officer asked again. Your orders? Zexthar took a deep breath. Track that ship, find out where it's going, and send a message to High Command. Tell them, he paused, tell them the humans are back. But even as he said it, one question burned in his mind. If the crew was dead, then who was flying the ship? The message reached High Command in 6 hours. Within 12 hours, every major alien government knew about the ghost ship. Within 24 hours, the entire galaxy was talking about it. The humans were back. Or were they? Admiral Crethor sat in his office on the capital world. He was old, very old. He had lived for 3 centuries. He had seen wars. He had seen peace. He had seen entire civilizations rise and fall. But he had never seen anything like this. He looked at the report again. The UNSC Wanderer, a human exploration vessel, lost 40,000 years ago in the dead zone. Now it was moving again, flying through space like nothing had happened. Impossible, he muttered. His assistant, a young officer named Velna, stood nearby. Sir, the tracking stations confirm it. The ship is real. It's heading toward the core systems. Have we tried to communicate with it? Yes, sir. Over 200 attempts. Every frequency, every language. No response except that same repeated message. Velna played the recording again. The ghostly voice filled the room. This is the UNSC Wanderer. Lost for 40,000 years. Crew deceased. But we are still here. We are still walking among the stars. Crethor felt a chill run down his spine. Crew deceased, but still here. What does that mean? Nobody knows, sir. The Admiral stood up. He walked to the window. Outside, the city glowed with light. Millions of beings living their lives. They had no idea what was coming. Tell me about the humans, Velna. You studied ancient history, didn't you? The young officer nodded. Yes, sir. Humans were different. They were not the strongest race. Not the smartest. Not the fastest. But they were stubborn. When humans wanted something, they never gave up. Never stopped. That's what made them dangerous. Dangerous? They were our allies once. Yes, sir. But even their friends feared them a little. Humans had this saying, we will find a way or make one. They didn't accept the word impossible. Crethor thought about the ship, moving through the dead zone, through radiation that should destroy any life, through space where nothing should survive. Finding a way even after death, he said quietly. That sounds like humans. Velna pulled up another file. Sir, I found something in the old records. About the Wanderer, about what happened to it. Show me. The screen displayed an ancient report. The text was faded, damaged by time, but still readable. The Wanderer was an exploration ship, Velna explained. It had a crew of 200 humans. Their mission was to explore the dead zone, to find out what was there. They knew it was dangerous, but humans always wanted to know what was beyond the next star. What happened to them? They sent back reports for the first 3 months. Everything was normal. Then they went deeper into the dead zone. The radiation increased. Their shields started failing. The last message they sent was... Velna paused. It was strange, sir. Strange how? Let me play it for you. The recording was very old. The quality was bad, but a human voice spoke clearly. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Wanderer. Our situation is critical. Life support is failing. Radiation levels are lethal. The crew is dying. We have tried everything. Nothing works. We cannot escape, but we have discovered something here. Something incredible. There is an energy in this place. We don't understand it yet. It touches our minds. Our ship, Dr. Martinez believes it might be alive in some way. It seems to respond to consciousness, to thought. We are running out of time, but if we could just, static, then silence. That was the last anyone heard from the Wanderer, Velna said. 40,000 years ago. Crethor stared at the screen. An energy that responds to consciousness, to thought, and now the ship is moving again, with a dead crew. Sir, do you think... I think the humans found something in the dead zone, something that changed them, or changed their ship, and now it's coming back. An alarm sounded. Red lights flashed. Sir! Another officer burst into the room. The Wanderer just changed course. It's accelerating, and sir, it's heading straight for Station Omega. Station Omega? That's our biggest research facility. 20,000 people work there. Yes, sir. And the Wanderer will reach it in 8 hours. Crethor made a decision. Send our fastest ships. Intercept the Wanderer before it reaches the station. But tell them to be careful. Do not fire unless absolutely necessary. We don't know what that ship can do. Yes, sir. As the officer left, Velna asked quietly, Sir, what if the humans are hostile? Crethor looked at the image of the ghost ship on his screen, the ancient vessel moving through space with impossible purpose. Then we're all in very big trouble, he said. Because if humans could survive for 40,000 years in the dead zone, if they could keep flying even after death, then they have become something we cannot imagine. Something beyond life and death itself. 6 hours later, the fleet reached the Wanderer. Commander Zexthar was leading the mission. He had volunteered. He wanted to see the ghost ship with his own eyes. All ships, battle stations, he ordered. But hold your fire. We approach carefully. The fleet moved forward, slowly, carefully, and then they saw it. The Wanderer floated in space before them. Up close, it was even more terrifying. The ship was massive, larger than any modern vessel. The hull was scarred and damaged, but those strange blue symbols glowed brighter now. They seemed to pulse, like a heartbeat. Scanning, an officer reported. Sir, there are no life signs on board, but there's energy. Lots of energy. It's not from any engine we know. It's coming from inside the ship itself. From everywhere. It's like the entire ship is alive. Alive? Zexthar whispered. The Wanderer suddenly stopped moving. Every screen on every ship in the fleet went dark. Then one by one they came back on. But they all showed the same thing. The same message. The same image. A human face appeared. But it was not solid. It was made of light, of energy. The face was young, female. She looked sad. And very, very tired. When she spoke, her voice came through every speaker, every comm system, every device. I am Captain Sarah Chen, the face said. Or I was. I don't know anymore. We have been walking for so long. So very long. 40,000 years. We died in the radiation, all of us, but we did not leave. We could not leave. The energy in the dead zone. It took us, changed us, made us part of the ship. We are the ship now, and the ship is us. Zexthar could not breathe, could not speak. We did not mean to frighten you, Captain Chen continued. We are coming home. After so long, we are finally coming home. But we bring a warning. Something is coming, something terrible. It follows us from the dead zone. We have been running from it for 40,000 years. And now, her image flickered, faded, her voice became urgent. Now it is almost here. You must prepare. You must warn everyone. The darkness is coming. And when it arrives, you will need us. You will need the dead who still walk. Because we are humanity's last gift to the galaxy. We are the guardians who never sleep. The watchers who never die. The transmission ended. Every ship in the fleet sat in stunned silence. Then, behind the Wanderer, space itself began to tear. Something was coming through. Something dark. Something hungry. And the ghost ship turned to face it. The guardians of the void, the darkness came through like a wound in reality. Zexthar watched in horror as space itself ripped open. The tear was massive, bigger than any ship, bigger than any station. And from within it something moved. What is that? Someone screamed over the comm. No one answered, because no one had words for what they were seeing. The thing that emerged was not made of metal or flesh. It was made of darkness itself, a living shadow that consumed light. Where it moved, stars dimmed. Space grew cold, empty, dead. All ships retreat. Zexthar ordered. His voice was shaking. Fall back now. But before the fleet could move, the Wanderer positioned itself between them and the darkness. Captain Chen's voice filled every speaker again. But this time it was not sad. It was strong, determined. No, you run, we fight. This is what we were made for. The ghost ship began to glow. The blue symbols on its hull blazed with light, brighter and brighter. The entire vessel became like a star burning in the void. The darkness stopped, as if surprised, as if it had not expected this. What are you doing? Zexthar shouted at the screen. You cannot fight that thing alone. We are not alone, Captain Chen replied. We are 200. We are the crew of the Wanderer, and we remember what it means to be human. The ship moved forward, fast, impossibly fast for something so old. It charged straight at the darkness. Humans, Zexthar whispered. They are still insane after 40,000 years. The Wanderer struck the darkness like a spear of light. Energy exploded outward. The shockwave hit the fleet and pushed them back. Alarms screamed on every ship. When Zexthar could see again, both the Wanderer and the darkness were still there. The ghost ship had pierced through the shadow, but the darkness was wrapping around it, pulling it in, consuming it. Captain Chen, Zexthar called out. You need help. We're coming. No. Her voice was strained now, struggling. You don't understand. This thing, it feeds on life, on living energy. Your ships, your crew. You would only make it stronger. But we, she laughed, a strange sad sound. We are already dead. It cannot feed on us. That is our weapon. That is our purpose. The Wanderer's hull began to crack. Pieces broke off and dissolved into the darkness. But the ship did not stop fighting. It poured more energy into the creature. Light against shadow. Death against death. How long have you been fighting this thing? Velna asked from the command ship at the rear of the fleet. Captain Chen's face appeared on the screen again. She looked older now, more tired. 40,000 years. We have been fighting it for 40,000 years. Every time we wounded it, it retreated. We followed. We chased it through the dead zone, back and forth across the void. We could never destroy it completely, but we kept it away from the living galaxy, kept it trapped in the radiation where nothing else could go. But now it's here, Admiral Krathor said. He had joined the fleet himself. He needed to see this. Why now? What changed? It grew stronger, fed on the energy of the dead zone, and we grew weaker. 40,000 years is a long time, even for ghosts. Our power fades. Our consciousness spreads thin. We knew we could not hold it much longer. So we made a choice. We came back to warn you, to teach you, to give you our knowledge before we fade forever. The darkness pulled harder. The Wanderer's hull screamed. Metal and energy tearing apart. There must be another way. Zexthar shouted. Some way to save you. We are already saved, Captain Chen said softly. Don't you see? We died 40,000 years ago. Everything since then has been a gift. Extra time, borrowed life. We became something new, something beyond. We walked between the stars as guardians, as watchers. We protected a galaxy that did not even know we existed. That is enough. That is more than enough. No, Velna said. Tears ran down her face. It's not fair. Life is not fair, another voice said. A human voice, male. But death can be meaningful. I am Dr. James Martinez, Chief Science Officer. Before we fade, we need to tell you something important. The screen split. Now many human faces appeared. All made of light, all members of the crew. 200 ghosts speaking together. The darkness is not unique, Dr. Martinez continued. It is one of many. They live in the spaces between dimensions, in the cracks of reality. They feed on life, on consciousness. They have been sleeping for millions of years, but now they are waking up. Why? Admiral Krathor demanded. Why are they waking now? Because the galaxy is full of life, a young human woman said. More life than ever before, more consciousness, more energy. We are like a bright light in the darkness, and they are drawn to it like insects to a flame. Then we are doomed, someone whispered. No, Captain Chen said firmly. You have a chance, but you must work together. All races, all worlds. You must stop fighting each other and prepare. Build defenses, train warriors. Study the energy that changed us. Learn to use it, because more darkness is coming, much more, and you will need every advantage to survive. The Wanderer was breaking apart now. Huge sections of the ship were dissolving, but the darkness was also weakening. The light from the ghost ship was burning it, destroying it piece by piece. We can hold this one, Captain Chen said. Her voice was fading. We can destroy it, but it will take everything we have left. Everything we are. When we are gone, you must be ready. You must become the new guardians. Wait, Zexthar called out. Tell us your names. All of you. You deserve to be remembered. The 200 faces smiled. Sad smiles, grateful smiles, and one by one they spoke their names. Captain Sarah Chen, Dr. James Martinez, Lieutenant Marcus Thompson, Engineer Amy Rodriguez, Navigator David Kim. On and on. 200 names, 200 souls who had given up eternity to protect strangers, to guard a galaxy they would never see again. When the last name was spoken, Captain Chen looked directly at the camera, directly at Zexthar. Tell them we existed, she said. Tell them that humanity walked among the stars even after death. Tell them that we never stopped protecting, never stopped fighting. Tell them, her voice broke. Tell them we were here. The Wanderer exploded, but it was not a normal explosion. It was light, pure light, blinding and beautiful. The light consumed the darkness completely, burned it away until nothing remained. The creature screamed, a sound that made every being in the fleet cover their ears, and then it was gone. The light faded slowly, gently, like a sunset. Where the Wanderer had been, there was now only empty space. and floating in that space, tiny points of light, 200 of them. They glowed softly for a moment. Then, one by one, they went out. The last light belonged to Captain Chen. It burned brighter than the others, held on longer. And in that final moment, Zexthar swore he heard her whisper, "Thank you for seeing us. Thank you for knowing we were real." Then darkness. True darkness. Not the hungry kind. Just the quiet darkness of space. The fleet sat in silence for a long time. Finally, Admiral Krathor spoke. "Record everything. Every word. Every image. The humans gave us a warning. They gave us knowledge. They gave us their lives, even though they were already dead. We will not waste this gift, sir," Velna said quietly. "What do we do now?" Krathor looked at the empty space where heroes had just died for a second time. Now we prepare. Now we unite. Now we become worthy of their sacrifice. The humans walked among stars for 40,000 years to protect us. The least we can do is stand ready when the next darkness comes. "And if we cannot stop it?" Zexthar asked. "If we are not strong enough?" The Admiral was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled, a small, sad smile. "Then we do what the humans taught us. We find a way or we make one. We never give up. We never stop. We walk among the stars, living or dead until the job is done." Across the fleet, every being stood at attention, a salute to the fallen, to the guardians who had protected them from the shadows, to the humans who walked the stars. But in the deep darkness of space, far away in the dead zone, something stirred. Another tier was forming, another darkness was waking, and this one was much, much bigger. 3 months passed. 3 months since the Wanderer died for the second time. 3 months since Captain Chen and her crew faded into darkness. 3 months since the galaxy learned the truth. The darkness was coming, and it was hungry. Admiral Krathor stood in the council chamber. Representatives from 50 different races surrounded him. Some were old allies, some were old enemies. But today, none of that mattered. "Show them," Krathor said to Velna. The young officer activated the hologram. A map of the galaxy appeared in the center of the room. Red dots marked locations across the outer rim. There were hundreds of them. "These are the tiers," Velna explained. "Rips in space, just like the one the Wanderer came through. In the past 3 months, we have detected 473 of them. And the number is growing every day." A council member from the Thorian race stood up. His skin was green and scaled. "How many of these darkness creatures have come through?" 32 confirmed, Velna replied. "We have lost contact with 17 colony worlds, 8 research stations, 3 mining operations. Everything in those locations is gone. No survivors, no traces. Just empty space." The chamber erupted in noise, fear, anger, panic, silence. Krathor commanded. The room went quiet. "We knew this was coming. The humans warned us. Now we must act. Act how?" demanded a Kelvorian ambassador. She was tall and thin with silver skin. "Our weapons do nothing against these creatures. We have tried everything. Missiles, energy beams, nuclear weapons. Nothing works. The darkness just absorbs it all and grows stronger." "That's because you're using the wrong weapons," a new voice said. Everyone turned. A figure walked into the chamber. He was covered in a dark cloak. His face was hidden. "Who are you?" Krathor demanded. "This is a closed session. How did you get in here?" The figure pulled back his hood. Gasps filled the room. It was a human. A living human. Not a ghost. Not a spirit. A real flesh and blood human being. "My name is Captain Derek Shaw," the man said. His voice was rough, tired. "And before you ask, yes, I am human. Yes, we still exist. And no, we did not all disappear 40,000 years ago." The chamber exploded with questions. Everyone talking at once, shouting. Krathor raised his hand for silence. "Explain. Now, where have humans been all this time?" Derek Shaw walked to the center of the room. He looked at each council member in turn. "We have been hiding, watching, preparing." "Preparing for what?" Velna asked. "For this. For the darkness. We knew it was coming. Our ancestors knew. 40,000 years ago, humanity discovered something. We found evidence of an ancient war. A war that happened millions of years before we even existed. A war between the living and the darkness. The living lost. Almost every advanced civilization in the galaxy was destroyed. Only a few survived by hiding, by going silent. That's impossible. the Thorian representative said. We would have found evidence of such a war. You did, Derek replied. You just didn't know what you were looking at. The dead zones, the empty sectors, the radiation fields where nothing grows. Those are not natural. They are scars, battlefields from the ancient war. The radiation is not normal radiation. It's the residue of weapons used against the darkness. Weapons powered by consciousness itself. Admiral Krathor felt cold. The energy that changed the Wanderer's crew. Exactly. Our ancestors found that energy. They learned how to use it. But they also learned something terrible. The darkness was not destroyed in the ancient war. It was only sleeping. And one day it would wake up again. So humanity made a choice. We split into two groups. Derek pressed a button on his wrist device. The hologram changed. It showed a timeline, a history. One group of humans stayed visible. They explored the galaxy openly. They made friends. They built ships like the Wanderer. These humans were bait. Watchers, guardians. When they detected the darkness stirring, they went into the dead zones to fight it, to delay it, to buy time. And the other group? Velna asked quietly. We went underground. We hid on remote worlds, in asteroid fields, in places no one would look. We spent 40,000 years preparing, building weapons, training soldiers, learning to use the consciousness energy that the darkness fears. We knew that one day the visible humans would fall, that the darkness would break through, and when that happened we would emerge, we would fight. So the Wanderer's sacrifice, Zexthar said. It was planned. Derek shook his head. No, Captain Chen and her crew chose to become guardians. They knew the risks. They knew they would probably die, but they did it anyway. That's what humans do. We make the hard choices. We stand in the dark places so others can live in the light. A council member from the Azurian race spoke up. She was small and blue with large eyes. You say you have weapons. Weapons that can fight the darkness. Prove it, Derek smiled. It was not a happy smile. I was hoping you would ask. He pressed another button. The chamber's wall screens activated. They showed a live feed from space. A battle was happening right now. One of the darkness creatures was attacking a cargo convoy. The shadow was huge, hungry, wrapping around the ships and pulling them into its void. Then something appeared. A human ship, but not like the Wanderer. This ship was sleek, modern, covered in the same blue symbols but brighter, more focused, more powerful. That is the Defiant, Derek said. One of our new Guardian ships, watch, the Defiant fired, but not normal weapons. Beams of pure light shot from its hull. Not laser light, not energy light, something else, something that looked alive. The beams struck the darkness creature, and it screamed. The shadow pulled back, tried to retreat, but the Defiant did not let it go. The ship moved with incredible speed, dodging, weaving, firing continuously. Each beam burned away part of the creature, cut through its form like a knife through smoke. Within minutes the darkness was destroyed. Completely. Nothing remained. The convoy was saved. The chamber sat in stunned silence. How? Admiral Krathor finally asked.
How did you do that?
Consciousness weapons, Derek explained. The darkness feeds on life energy, but it cannot consume pure consciousness focused into a weapon form. It's like trying to eat fire. The fire burns you instead. We learned this from studying the Wanderer's final battle, from analyzing the energy signatures. We've been building ships with these weapons for the past 50 years. We have a fleet of 300 Guardian vessels, each one crewed by trained human warriors who have learned to channel their consciousness into the weapons. 300 ships, the Kelvorian ambassador said, against hundreds of darkness creatures. That's not enough. You're right, Derek agreed. It's not enough. Not nearly enough. That's why I'm here. We need your help, our help. But you just said our weapons don't work. Your weapons don't work. But your people can learn. Consciousness is not a human-only trait. Every living being has it. Every race in this chamber can learn to use it as a weapon. But it takes time, training, discipline, and most importantly, it takes unity. Derek looked around the room. The darkness does not care about your politics, your borders, your old wars. It wants to consume all life, all consciousness, everything. The only way to survive is to work together, to train together, to fight together. You want us to become like you, the Thorian said. To become human. No, Derek replied firmly. I want you to become guardians. That's not the same as being human. It's something more, something bigger. The Wanderer's crew were not just humans. They were heroes, protectors, that's what we need now. Not humans or Thorians or Kelvorians. We need guardians. We need warriors who will stand between the darkness and the light. The chamber sat in stunned silence. How? Admiral Krathor finally asked. How did you do that? Consciousness weapons, Derek explained. The darkness feeds on life energy, but it cannot consume pure consciousness focused into a weapon form. It's like trying to eat fire. The fire burns you instead. We learned this from studying the Wanderer's final battle, from analyzing the energy signatures. We've been building ships with these weapons for the past 50 years. We have a fleet of 300 Guardian vessels, each one crewed by trained human warriors who have learned to channel their consciousness into the weapons. 300 ships, the Kelvorian ambassador said, against hundreds of darkness creatures. That's not enough. You're right, Derek agreed. It's not enough. Not nearly enough. That's why I'm here. We need your help. Our help. But you just said our weapons don't work. Your weapons don't work. But your people can learn. Consciousness is not a human-only trait. Every living being has it. Every race in this chamber can learn to use it as a weapon. But it takes time, training, discipline, and most importantly, it takes unity. Derek looked around the room. The darkness does not care about your politics, your borders, your old wars. It wants to consume all life, all consciousness, everything. The only way to survive is to work together, to train together, to fight together. You want us to become like you, the Thorian said. To become human. No, Derek replied firmly. I want you to become guardians. That's not the same as being human. It's something more, something bigger. The Wanderer's crew were not just humans. They were heroes, protectors. That's what we need now. Not humans or Thorians or Kelvorians. We need guardians. We need warriors who will stand between the darkness and the light. 6 months passed like a dream or a nightmare. Every world in the galaxy transformed into a training ground. Soldiers from 100 different races learned to focus their consciousness, to turn their minds into weapons, to touch the same energy that had kept the Wanderer alive for 40,000 years. It was hard, painful, many failed. Some died trying, but many succeeded. Velna stood on the training deck of the new flagship, the Unity. She closed her eyes and focused. Reached deep inside herself, found that spark of consciousness, that flame of awareness, and pushed it outward. Light flowed from her hands, blue and bright, the same light that had covered the Wanderer. Good, Captain Derek Shaw said. He stood nearby, watching. You're getting stronger. Will it be enough? Velna asked. She opened her eyes. The light faded. Against that thing. Derek did not answer immediately. He looked out the window at the fleet gathering in space. Thousands of ships from every race, every world. The largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. I don't know, he said honestly. The Void King is ancient, powerful beyond measure, but we have something the ancient civilizations did not have. What? Unity, hope, and the memory of those who walked before us. Derek touched a small device on his uniform. It glowed softly. I carry a piece of the Wanderer's hull, a fragment that survived. When I hold it, I can almost hear them. Captain Chen and her crew. They're gone, but their sacrifice remains. It reminds me why we fight. Velna smiled sadly. I wish I could have met them. The real them. Before they became ghosts. Maybe you will. In whatever comes after. Derek turned from the window. Come, the council is gathering. Admiral Krathor has called for a final briefing. They walked through the ship's corridors. Everywhere, soldiers prepared. Humans worked alongside Thorians. Kelvorians trained with Azurians. Old enemies had become new friends. United by a common threat, the council chamber was full. Every important leader in the galaxy was present, either in person or by hologram. Admiral Krathor stood at the center. He looked older now. The past 6 months had aged him, but his eyes were still sharp, still determined. The time has come, he announced. Our scouts report that the Void King has begun moving. It will reach our territory in 72 hours. This is our last chance to prepare, our last chance to speak. So I ask each of you, are we ready? Commander Zexthar spoke first. The defense fleet is assembled. 15,000 ships, all equipped with consciousness weapons, all crewed by trained warriors. We are as ready as we will ever be. A Thorian general nodded. Ground forces are deployed on every major world. If the darkness reaches the surface, we will fight there too. To the last soldier if necessary. The Azurian scientists have developed shield technology, the small blue ambassador added. It uses consciousness energy to create barriers. The shields are not perfect, but they will buy us time. One by one, each race reported their preparations. Everyone had done their part, given everything they could. Finally, Crethor looked at Derek Shaw. Captain, your people started this fight 40,000 years ago. You've carried this burden longer than any of us. What do you say? Can we win? Derek was quiet for a long moment. Everyone waited. The entire chamber held its breath. I don't know if we can win, Derek said slowly, but I know we can fight. I know we can stand together. I know we can show the darkness that life will not go quietly into the void, that consciousness will not surrender, that every living being in this galaxy is willing to walk into the dark if it means protecting the light. He pulled out the fragment of the Wanderer's hull, held it high so everyone could see. The humans who flew this ship died twice, once in the radiation, once in battle, but they never stopped fighting, never stopped protecting. They walked among the stars for 40,000 years because they believed in something bigger than themselves. They believed in life, in hope, in the future. Derek looked around the room, at the faces of 100 different races, all listening, all united. Today we honor their memory. Today we become what they were, guardians, watchers, warriors who walk between the darkness and the light. And if we fall, if we fail, we will fall knowing that we stood together, that we fought together, that we were worthy of their sacrifice. The chamber erupted in sound. Not panic, not fear, cheers, determination, unity. Admiral Crethor raised his hand. Silence fell again. Then it is decided. In 72 hours we face the Void King. We face the darkness that destroyed civilizations millions of years ago. We face the end of everything we know and love. He paused. And we will not run. We will not hide. We will stand. We will fight. And we will walk into that darkness together. 72 hours later, it arrived. The Void King tore through space like a wound that would never heal. It was massive beyond comprehension, bigger than any moon, bigger than any planet. It was darkness given form, hunger given consciousness, death given purpose, and behind it came thousands of lesser darkness creatures, an army of shadows, a flood of emptiness. The fleet waited. 15,000 ships arranged in formation, every weapon charged, every consciousness focused, every warrior ready. Velna stood on the bridge of the Unity. Her hands glowed with blue light. Around her, the crew did the same. The entire ship pulsed with consciousness energy. Here they come, Zexthar said from his command ship. His voice was steady over the comm. All ships hold the line. Wait for my command. The darkness approached, slowly, deliberately, like a predator that knew its prey could not escape. Admiral Crethor watched from the command center. His 4 eyes tracked the enemy, calculated distances, probabilities, chances of survival. The numbers were not good, but numbers had never stopped humans. And today everyone was human in spirit. Captain Shaw, Crethor said, the honor is yours. Give the command. Derek Shaw stood on the bridge of the Defiant, the first human guardian ship. The prototype, the beginning of everything. He thought of Captain Chen, of Dr. Martinez, of the 200 souls who had walked for 40,000 years. He touched the fragment of their ship one more time. For the Wanderer, he whispered, then louder into the comm. All ships, all warriors, light your fires. Show the darkness what life looks like.